Hi everyone and welcome to Studio Jake. I of course am your host, Jacob Airy. Welcome to the final episode of the year. This one was supposed to be last week, but I traveled to Texas to see my family and I wanted to film there, just didn't work out, but that's okay. We're here now. We're going to do the final episode of the year and then I'm going to go on hiatus for a little while. I'm going to come back sometime, but it's going to be on a smaller scale. I'll explain about that more a little bit later on. But for now, just take a deep breath. It's Christmas time, right? Time for a season of giving. So relax, breathe. Don't let the holidays stretch you. Don't let the holidays stretch you or stress you. Just breathe in, breathe out, sit back and relax, and welcome to Studio Jake. Okay, welcome back. So, if you hear a little bit of wrestling, it's because my wife and I gave our dog Todd, who you've seen on the show before, we gave him a new toy, and he's kind of wrestling with it. So if you hear that wrestling, just know it's a very, very happy puppy dog. So I thought I'd close out the year with the last issue of Doomsday Clock. You all have been with me since issue 1 came out. I don't even remember when. We've seen it shoot off like a rocket and then come crashing down like a popped balloon. I tell you what, all the air just sucked out of this series. So we've seen the characters from the Watchmen invade the DC universe. We've seen Batman go toe-to-toe with Rorschach and the Mannequin and a bunch of other characters. We've seen Lex Luthor get shot by the Comedian. We've seen him confront Ozymandias. We've seen Superman cause an international incident. We've seen Firestorm get framed. We've seen Black Adam invade the United States. We've seen all of the main superheroes of the DC universe try to fight Dr. Manhattan and get their butts kicked on Mars. And then we finally get to Superman meeting Dr. Manhattan. So we come to the final phase. Now, I have to admit something. I am very disappointed in this series. I had such high hopes. I mean, Gary Frank has done it. I'm going to just say Gary Frank has done an amazing job with the art. I have nothing against him. The covers, even the variant covers, are amazing. He did a good job. He did a great job with all the character designs. The way he draws, especially like, here's a really great illustration. It's a bunch of international superheroes engaged in battle outside the U.S. Capitol. I love how he drew Batman. I love how he drew Superman. Of course, I don't understand why we have to have a naked Dr. Manhattan. That is so annoying. It's like they need to put an M on this thing, and this thing needs to go to the black label because it's so, it's kind of disturbing. I mean, it's like, are these guys like obsessed? And one of the, now this scene is a little bit spoilers, but one thing the DC Rebirth did was it restored the Justice Society back to the mainstream DC universe. So there's Superman leading what's known as the Justice Society, Infinity Inc., and a few characters from the Legion of Superheroes. Because the New 52 wiped a lot of those characters out. So the Rebirth, as you know, brought them all back. So we're to this conclusion, and I am sorely disappointed in Jeff Johns because he's such a good writer. I mean, Batman Earth 1, Volume 1 and 2, both of those are fantastic. And then we get to Doomsday Clock, and like I said, it took off like a rocket. It was going good, and then it crashes to this climax. Now, there are going to be some spoilers in this, so I apologize in advance. But one thing I don't understand is this character Carver Coleman, and maybe someone can let me know in the comments below. Is he a Watchmen character that I'm not remembering? I read The Watchmen a long time ago by Alan Moore. Everyone knows me. I'm not on the Alan Moore train. I think he's kind of an overrated writer. I think he did great with Swamp Thing. I think he did great with Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. But those are like the only two that I actually think are good. I think all the others are kind of mediocre at best and hot garbage at once. So I was kind of like, Killing Joke's not really as good as people say it is. V for Vendetta and The Watchmen, not as good as people say it is. Like I said, Swamp Thing, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, those are great. But his other bibliography, I'm not really that impressed with it. And so I know that Jeff Johns didn't have a lot to work with. But here's the thing. This thing was supposed to lead to the DC Rebirth. That was kind of the whole point of Batman and the Flash finding the button. Remember that tie-in? They don't even mention that here. They just kind of allude to it, and instead connect it to Flashpoint, which is great. Flashpoint was a fantastic crossover event for the DC universe, but it's established the New 52, which wasn't all it was cracked up to be, but still, I never really. I don't really understand. Discouraged of Man? What does that even mean? Why is that the title of this comic book? So, like I said, there are going to be a couple of spoilers here. Basically, Superman and Dr. Manhattan finally meet, and here's one where you just get mooned by Dr. Manhattan. You don't have to see him in his naked glory down below. But it's basically supposed to be that Dr. Manhattan, like they mentioned this in The Watchmen several times, Dr. Manhattan has kind of lost touch with his humanity. He's kind of evolving into a god, and I think that's so dumb. I think, come on, he got hit by a couple of neurons, and he's got all these ridiculous godlike powers. I mean, come on, seriously. And so basically the premise is Dr. Manhattan is convinced that he and Superman are going to fight, and that battle is going to cause the collapse of the multiverse, or as Dr. Manhattan calls it, the metaverse. So, but instead what kind of happens is Superman inspires Dr. Manhattan, because that's what Superman is supposed to be, and this is why the Zack Snyder films fell, is Superman is supposed to be a symbol of hope and inspiration. And they allude to it in the Snyderverse, but instead they give you this angsty, emo teen Superman that no one wanted to see, where he's like, oh, woe is me, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, oh, I want to be around. It was dumb. And even his sacrifice to stop Doomsday wasn't really, knowing all this, it wasn't really that inspirational. I mean, it was heroic. But come on. Two superheroes yelling about their mothers, give me a break. Anyway, so also though, one thing that I find interesting is in this, because now I'm not watching The Watchmen, so I'm getting this third hand, so if I'm wrong about this, correct me in the comments below. But Rorschach in the Watchmen television show, HBO, which is supposed to be a sequel to the movie, I think it takes place something like 30 years later, Rorschach has kind of become a symbol of hate. He's become a symbol of like basically a white nationalist group like the Groypers or something like that, although they're trying to tie in all conservatives to this alt-right hate movement. That's so annoying. Alt-right means alternative to right, not right-wing. Anyway. So in this one, though, there's a new Rorschach. Of course, Dr. Manhattan kills Rorschach in The Watchmen. And so there's a new Rorschach who he kind of was lied to as why he became Rorschach, so he doesn't want to take the mantle anymore. That's another convoluted mess in the whole story. And they kind of bring it together where Rorschach is supposed to be like the grounding of the morals and the ethics of the Watchmen, and similar, and they make allusions to Batman being this. Of course, Batman doesn't kill, Rorschach does, but I found that again to be a convoluted mess, and I just feel like they just told him, look, The rebirth is already done. We kept delaying this because this issue was actually delayed by like a month and a half. So just wrap it up. I honestly feel like that's the way it went. Because also too, like again, someone explained to me this in one issue. Like Dr. Manhattan, it views the main DC. So sometimes it's called Earth 1, sometimes it's called Earth Prime, sometimes it's called Earth 0. The main DC universe. He views it the alternating timelines through the eyes of this actor. I have no idea what the significance of this is. None, zero, zip, zilch. Because they just kind of touch on, they spend a whole issue talking about Carver Coleman. Then they allude to it in this, and then alter this, and then it's like something really big and significant. So I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. So, like I said, if someone can explain to me the significance of Carver Coleman, please let me know. It's like an Easter egg, but there's nothing inside it. There's no candy. It's just a plastic Easter egg that you found. So, anyway, very disappointed with how this series ended. It was a complete and utter letdown. I don't even recommend getting the graphic novel when it comes out in the completed form. I know they've already done Volume 1, which was a little weird to me. But yeah, don't waste your time. Especially the last 7 issues are just a convoluted mess that make no sense whatsoever. And honestly, I think it comes down to that they shifted the focus from Batman to Superman. Whenever Batman was the main character of the series, at least to the DC universe, the series ebbed and flowed kind of a natural way. Then they introduced Superman, you've got to put all these themes into it. So, needless to say, huge letdown. Doomsday Clock number 12. I'm honestly just glad it's over, and I'm sad I wasted $5.99. Let's see. So let's round it up to $6 times 12. I spent $72 on this series, and I am incredibly disappointed with how it ended. All right, on to another topic. So I mentioned before that I'm going to be redoing how I am doing Studio Jake, and that's true. Basically what I'm doing is I am closing shop on YouTube. YouTube has made it impossible for an upstart like me to get started. I've been doing this for a year, a little over a year, and virtually I've not been able to advance, even with more resources as far as promoting my channel. I have not been able to just grow organically. So I'm retiring from being a YouTuber and I'm going to just focus on my blog and growing it. But don't worry, you'll still get videos from me. I am starting sometime next year. I'm not sure when, but I'm going to start doing videos on my Facebook channel, on my Facebook page. It's going to shift into having more commentary about comic books. I'm going to review old comic books and graphic novels. I'm going to talk about anime. Basically everything I like there. I'm just going to do it on my Facebook page. I'm going to, anytime I want a video content, don't worry, I'm still going to do interviews and stuff, but everything's going to be on a smaller scale. So I'm not going to do like big, huge, long-winded videos of me just complaining about Star Wars and DC Comics and Marvel and the MCU and all of that. It's going to go down to a much smaller scale where I'm talking like one topic per video, and they're going to be way shorter. Like I said, except for my interviews, I'm still going to do the interviews that I get really good feedback on. So just keep a lookout for those things. Anyway, one last note. I know it's the Sunday before Christmas. You need a last-minute gift. Order your friend, your family member, your partner, your spouse, whatever. Get them a copy of my fantasy novel, The Seven Royals All Good Things. It's book 1 in a trilogy, and it goes like this. In the land of Cray, 7 young royals, Jasher, Philip, Talia, Connor, Rapunzel, James, and Belle, were living peaceful lives until Emperor Midas and the evil Grand Mage Fabius Thorn attacked their lands with their dark army. The Dragon Prince Jasher is put into a frozen sleep, while the others are scattered for their protection. 10 years later, Jasher awakens with a mystical blue sword and unites the other 6. Along the way, the royals encounter friends, foes, and unexpected allies as they journey back to retake their homeland. So definitely get yourself a copy of this. Get it for your friends, family. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. You can download it on Kobo, on iTunes, or excuse me, Apple Books. And you can get in both formats at booklocker.com. That's BOOKLOCKER.com. Now, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, @RealJacobArry. Instagram is @RealJacobArry. Follow me on Facebook. Like my Facebook page. It's author Jacob Arry. Also, check out my blog. It's www.jacob.blog. So jacobarry.blog. Head over there. I'm going to have even more commentary along with reading recommendations. I'm going to be talking anime, television. I'm going to be talking about movies, all kinds of stuff. I'm also going to have my review of Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is already on there. I'm sorry, I meant my review of The Rise of Skywalker. So head over there and check both of those reviews out. That'll be up tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.